Hey Laptop Crew family, how are we doing? So I want to cover on this video challenges with resources. So you're an entrepreneur, and depending on where you're at, you're probably in one of three buckets. Number one, you're in a startup mode or under 100k, and you're paying bills, and that's a primary outcome. A lot of stress, uncertainty, etc. That's number one. Number two, you're in a bucket from maybe 100k to sort of 500, and resources could, financially based are going to be dependent on how your business is. You're less insecure about actual having the ability to pay bills, but you might have a constraint around resources being your time as one of the key drivers at that point. Then number three, as you move into breaking seven figures, resources are going to be potentially a bit of both. You might have invested unwisely and built a team based on bums on seats. One of the things that I've been amazed at still is a goal is, what's your goal? I want to get a team of 6. Well, no, your goal is to do 1 million, and you want to you want to get a 600k dividend. You told me that's your goal. That's the outcome. You think the roadmap to get there is a team of 6 because you've been conditioned from what you've experienced in the last dozen years working at ABC big agency. So you've got these different drivers and understand about limited resources. So we want to be really clear. You're an entrepreneur, so no matter whatever you term yourself, as a business owner, director, etc. But if you're watching this, you're an entrepreneur, and your goal and your primary outcome is to make the revenue, more importantly the profit that you've got as your number in the next 12 months, and then 24 months, and 36 months, then maybe sell the asset or whatever it might be, remove yourself from the business. That's your outcome here, okay? That's your outcome. So you've got point A, point B. But then in the middle, we've got this noise often, okay? So when we talk about limited resources, we need to be aware of a couple of variables. So resources can mean financials, not enough financials, number one. When I started this journey, I was in the corporate world for a long time, since 1996, then left that, then I mentored children for a bit, as you guys probably know, then I lost everything. I lost a shit ton in property, an absolute shit ton, and then on the lost everything on the bones of my arse, and then I knew I wasn't going back to the corporate world, and I put my last pennies into learning from a guy in Australia about webinars. As it turned out, it didn't work particularly well in that example, but I knew I wasn't going back. So I was willing to say, right, I've got this credit card, I'm going to put my final 2k to this guy to learn about this. So I knew I wasn't going back. I'd cut ties with those boats. The bridge was burnt. So when we talk about resources, we need to be aware of what we're actually dealing with here, what we're dealing with. So I'm now very studious about input, process, output, and so you should be also. But at the same time, we need to be aware that if you're currently doing 200k and you want to get 1 million in the next year, is it going to be just you? No. So what do you need to invest in? So I'll take that as the case study example here. A business doing 150, 200k and they want to break 1 million. What resources do you need? Well, number one, you need to have a website and a LinkedIn profile that match your market. So that website, members who join us, we've got a partnership with somebody, not to get any backhand or nothing like that, but it's this company we've tested over the years, and we're talking about a few $100s for your website. You don't need to spend crazy money on that, number one. LinkedIn profile, we got a template. So you've got your base principles in place when you found online. So let's think about what you need. You need clients, you need candidates. So in my world, what we want our members to do is I want you to have all the clients in the niche, all the candidates in the niche in your database inside your LinkedIn network, number one. Number two, I want you to be positioned as a leader in your marketplace. So whether you're a brand new business, your client's got 3 other options: a PSL, they've got other recruitment service businesses, and they might have internal recruitment straight do it themselves. You need to be aware of that at all times. So we need to have some artifacts created. So I mean literally a document, a video, or a webinar. So talking about minuscule amounts of money here. Then we need to actually implement, which means we need somebody to actually run the campaigns, get his inbound responses. That if we're talking about you doing 200k, you deal with the inbound responses, you speak to the clients, you speak to the candidates and you do a qualification process up to sort of 500k, you can do that. So how much money is involved there? Not a lot, hardly anything. So when we talk about resources we need to invest, you need to be aware about, right, I need to have this flashy ATS, I need to have this email system, I need to have this video tool, I need to have this interviewing tool, I need to have, we create, and I think often what we do when we're going through a tough time is we look for reasons why we're not progressing forward. And we find, well, I need to have this ATS. Everyone's raving about it. If I got this ATS, it's fucking, oh, amazing. Well, it isn't, because you ain't got the candidates in it. You know? So we often find that. So when we talk about resources, less is more. I'm a massive proponent of skinning the fat as much as possible. And then along the way, you're going to take 5 steps forward, you're going to take 2 steps back. However, you want to skin that fat. So resource-wise, you want to be aware of bringing on team members. You know, I've been through a cycle, which I won't share dates, etc. But team member who then brings on team members to bring on team members, and it's like, we've got this goal to hit this and do this and do this and support members in this way. But then actually you find, right, what I'm actually doing is we're creating the exact environment that I left. I want to leave an environment of employees. That's exactly what I left. That's why we've done the laptop recruiter all these years. So when you talk about resources, the reality is, for you to do $1 million, tools-wise, you're talking about a few $100. You're talking about a website. You're talking about probably 2 VAs. You're talking about maybe a commissioning recruiter, and you might well give them 40-50% of the deal, because what your job is, make sure your VA brings in more leads. You've got a recruitment person or a researcher who qualifies the candidates, which are inbound. And then you might give leads to to a commissioning recruiter. So you might go from 200k to $1 million at that point. And you might give away to a commissioning recruiter at that point, or you might do it yourself. But the reality is, getting to 500, 600, most of that you should be keeping yourself. We've got about another member just hit $1 million inside the inner circle. And I was going through our group, and I was looking at some of the questions and other members who've done really good things. And one of the questions is around, what's your actual profit ratio in the business? What's your actual ratio you deal with? I.e., if you bring in $1 million, how much is going actually on costs? And the number's about 81, 82% is what you should be getting. And that's for a business that is 20x'd effectively. So when we talk about resources, we need to be aware of 2 variables. One is, if you keep doing it all the time, if you keep doing all the tasks, you're not going to grow. You're not going to grow. You're gonna even if you started using the automation strategies or templates and whatever that you might do. If you join one of our starter programs, the reality is you're going to get these leads coming in, but you've been doing 100k. Let's get to $500,000. Someone else should be running that, because if you're doing $500,000, that means that your hourly rate is now looking at about $250 per hour. So why would someone else not run that tool for you at $5 per hour? Make sense? So on the last video I mentioned about enjoying your business. So when you talk about having limited resources, you've got to be aware of, you need to work bloody hard. With the automation templates, the inbound, you need to put the hours in. But also, again, we've got a website, we've got a LinkedIn profile, we've got build data, we build a couple of artifacts to convert the client. That's not a big overhead. So we often, I think what a lot of people are doing right now with what's going on with the world and the economy and this fear that's going on is, we're looking for reasons why we're not succeeding. And I'm not succeeding because of this, or I can't take this jump because of this. And you need to be aware of how you're making that decision. So limited resources. Your main resource is time. But the resource you think about is money. So think about that. When you say limited resources, the most important one is your time. And if you're doing $1 million per year, that's 500 per hour. If you're currently doing 100k per year, that's 50 per hour. So should you be pissing about with admin jobs and dealing with tools and etc.? No, you shouldn't. So with your resources, you need to be thinking about, right, what is the real problem here? I'm stagnant. Is it because I've not invested to that next jump from 100K to 500K? Is it a financial investment I've got as a problem here? How much do I need to invest? Well, it looks about X amount per month, not a lot. Is it worth giving that a go for 3 months? Probably. Or is the challenge you got with resources your time? It will always go back to your time. And I'm a massive believer in, let's say, finality. So you've got a 3-year plan, in 3 years you have a setup so you can walk away, or someone else running it for you, or what you can sell it, whatever. Think in those terms, no matter where you are. So guys, with that said, limit resources. There are 2 main resources, but the biggest one is time. Hopefully it's been of use to you. And let me know below in the comments, or send me a message. Let us know your story. 4 ways we can help you. You'll see you next. Speak soon, guys. Now, if you've been following me for a period of time, my name's Andy Whitehead. I'm from recruitmentmarketinginternational.com. If you want help right now, there are 4 ways we can help you. Number 1, join the Laptop Recruiter Facebook group, as I just said. Number 2, watch any of these on-demand client and candidate automation, inbound and growth webinars, whether it be the Laptop Recruiter, whether it be the $1 Million Recruiter, plus the hundreds and hundreds of other podcasts you can find on iTunes, on our website, on YouTube, etc. Number 3, if you want to reach out to me personally, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, often you guys reach out to me. You've been following me now for 8 years, now's the time. If you've got a question for me, send me a message on Facebook or on LinkedIn, I'll come back to you personally. Or number 4, if you're now ready to become a client, simply schedule a call, head to our website or head to the Laptop Recruiter Facebook group and then reach out to me personally inside there, and I'll give you my diary and let's book a call. So with that said, guys, I'll see you inside the Laptop Recruiter group. Let's do this.